so cool.
How do you like my run?
I wish you ran like that all the time. You should have became an athlete instead of a YouTuber. So this is one of the tree nets I made on our property. It's made out of climbing rope and 550 paracord. Initially I asked Christy what colors I should make it, and she said I should do something that would like blend in with the trees. You can kind of see how I made it. So climbing rope, and then this is the 550 cord, and I just used simple knots. The main knots I used were prusik hitch, clove hitch. This is a clove hitch that's kind of spread out, and double fisherman's knot. For the perimeter, I did use like a bowline. I used a figure 8 on a bite in a couple of spots. So really just a lot of standard climbing knots for this. It was really just like me attempting to try something new and seeing if I could do it. I had seen some guys on Instagram building them, and they're building like amazing, crazy cool structures, and I just wanted to see if I could build something, and I did. It's not exactly finished to my standards and it's not perfect, but they're really fun to make for me. I can really get into a flow state of just like weaving, probably similar to how people get when they're doing any kind of painting or art or sewing or knitting, but I can really get into a flow state with it. This was basically like me testing out everything. I was testing different patterns, different colors, different ways of weaving, and just trying to like get a feel for it while having some fun. And honestly, this has gotten so much use. Our niece has had her birthday here recently, and there was probably close to maybe 10 or 12 kids up here at the same time, like jumping. Yeah, so it's plenty strong. When I built it, our son was a little bit too small. He likes it, but I think it's a little bit too high for him and he feels like he's gonna fall. But I think that'll change as he gets older. These can last anywhere from like 4 to 8 years, depending on like conditions and how much sun you're getting, how much rain. I think this one's about 2 years, 2.5 years old, and I can already tell that there's a difference in the sound of it, probably because the trees have also grown and stretched the cord some, but also because the cord is just getting older. Like the sun is hitting it mostly in the winter, because honestly this is pretty shady in the summer. Yeah, just the elements and stuff will degrade this stuff over time. It's more of a semi-permanent thing. I just wanted to try it out. Like I always loved jumping on trampolines when I was a kid, climbing trees, and it's kind of like a perfect combo mixed in with maybe like a tree house or something. So I built these stairs to make it easier for kids and old people like me. This one kind of like got away from me. I started with one vision, kind of got lost in the sauce of it. Like I was out here for too long doing like certain patterns, and then I would get bored, and then so that's why I ended up trying a bunch of different patterns, and it's kind of chaotic, the final look of it. So these are some of the different patterns that I was talking about. It's my attempt at doing something that Tree Net Willie, I think is what their name is. I kind of got bored, so I went into my own like chaotic spider web, the anti-pattern. And initially I started out with this as the border. So it shrank so much, it pulled it in probably 4 or 5 feet total, like on the perimeter. So then I ended up adding this extra rope on the outside. That made up for the loss. I did use blocking to protect the trees some, but I definitely didn't use enough, as you can see. So maybe in the next couple of years, I'm either gonna have to replace parts of this rope and put blocking in, or just cut the whole thing down. We'll see how the tree grows, because I don't want to girdle the tree. That's like one danger of doing this improperly, is you can girdle the tree. So this would be an example of like proper blocking. That's what it should look like, to where there's a gap between the rope and the tree. And I didn't do that everywhere, as you can see, and that's kind of a shame, because I think this would last a lot longer if I did. This is our son's play area, and we can either like be up here jumping on this or laying on it, and he can be playing, or vice versa. Like we can chill in the chairs and he could be up here running around. I just thought it would kind of add to the playground vibe of it. But I think eventually when I do rebuild this, obviously I'm going to change the things I did wrong, but I also think that I'm going to build it up higher and build a ladder to get to it, kind of like those stairs, and I'll build like a spiral staircase in between all these trees to get to the platform. That'll be the plan for the future one. This one's really fun for now. Like I said, the kids really love it. And because this bottom section is chaotic, I was like, I'll just try out new colors. So that's why I went and got the orange and the blue. And I was trying to do another platform up here. I just figured, I'll just start a whole new, a whole new net. I'll go over and show you the new one that I'm working on right now. So this is the second one that I built. It's not finished yet. I don't know if I will finish it. I'm kind of all over the place with ideas. I kind of thought I had it figured out from the first one, like, oh, this is how I'll build the next one. Kind of did the exact same thing with the first one. I made the same mistake, making it way too small. So I started with this lower section with the pink, and then it just shrank way too small. And then I was like, why don't I just add a second layer? And my ideas just kind of like compounded, and now it's just become this monstrosity, where I wanted it to be all kind of the same color story, and I wanted it to kind of like make sense. Now it's kind of chaotic. It's all just like it's evolving as I'm working on it. So right now I'm still working on it. That's why you see all the strings hanging down. That's why it looks real messy. But you can kind of get the idea. Like the rope I used was really a lot stretchier than I thought it was gonna be. And it really, you can see the curve in it. It's supposed to kind of run like this. And the rope just kept pulling inwards because I couldn't get enough tension on it when I initially did the border wrap. So the rope kept stretching and stretching and stretching, and I ended up with kind of this weird Star Trek shape where you can see it follows all the way to this tree. So this got added on just recently. I used some ground anchors. You just drill them in to the ground. It's all kind of in progress. I haven't finished any of this net, like not even one section. I keep moving on and adding on to it, so I'll take you up. Eventually, kids will be able to run up, climb through the big tunnel through here, and then either come up to the second layer or go down that chute. And then I'm also gonna build a third layer right here. There's gonna be like an archway here, and then this is gonna be like almost like a ramp that goes up to that third layer. This is fully gonna be enclosed with another archway, like a small tunnel. So it's gonna be like a bunch of, like a series of tunnels to crawl through. And then that's gonna be like a little kind of sneaky spot that you can just go and like chill, or you can like crawl through this tunnel and then go down. I want it to be fun and safe. I don't want to have to worry about our son or anybody else's kid that comes up here. So the one thing I did on this tree correctly is I used the correct amount of blocking. Like there's gaps, so the rope's not going to dig into these trees for years, if at all. There are a few things that I would have done differently on this one, even, that I kind of didn't learn from the first time. So it's going to be like a kind of a third time's a charm sort of situation, where each one's gonna get better. Hopefully on the next one, it's gonna be something that I'm like, okay, I'm really proud of this one. I did everything right. I have a good feeling about where this is heading, but there are some things that I would change. There's no real like point to building one of these other than just for fun. It's similar to having a trampoline or a treehouse. It just kind of combines the ideas and it made it more approachable. It was just a project that I thought I could build without having to have any expert like help or opinions. I'll put a link for some of the guys' Instagrams that I've taken the most like inspiration from, and they do awesome work. So like, if you're not gonna build one yourself, check them out. I used to work in rope access for a living, so I kind of knew how to do knots already. I kind of knew about minimum breaking strengths and working load limits, and kind of just know about the climbing ropes and how to tie knots, all of those things already. And I was decently comfortable with heights, so I didn't mind building it myself. And it's something that I really actually found that I like doing a lot. It's peaceful just being out in nature, but also just the continuous weaving for me and not having to be perfect with it. It really seems to help like my ADHD, to put it that way. It really seems to focus me in. I can listen to a podcast or just listen to music or just like enjoy the sounds of nature, even though it's kind of just for fun. Ultimately, I've really enjoyed it. So this is kind of a snapshot of what I've been up to. I'm just trying to make our property and our house like a fun place for our son to grow up and have it be something. If I went to a place like that, or if I lived at a place like that as a kid, I would have been like, oh my gosh, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. So that's what I'm trying to do with everything. Yeah. Everything we build. Christy and I are both trying to do that in our own ways. It's good. I think we balance each other out. Like this is not her aesthetic, obviously. You guys know Christy, but maybe not like your first reaction isn't, this is beautiful. It's just like, holy crap, that's cool. That looks fun. I'm trying to do the same type of thing by like building hiking trails and trails for dirt bikes and building tree nets and having rope swings and eventually maybe like a zip line or something. I think I've talked enough on this. Just let me know if you guys have any questions. If you want to see like more of the process of me building it, just like show you how to do the knots and stuff like that. But I think, yeah, if you guys want to see that, I can do that. But all right, guys, thanks for watching. I definitely would do a lot of things different for the next one. I did a lot of, and oh God, sorry. That are for like they're tent stakes or something for, they're tent stakes. You can kind of tell, well, you can't really tell, but you wish you could. I think I feel better about it even being the sink. There are a few things that I would have, so it's going to be like a third time. I have good, so there's no real point to